What happens if you miss your one-time Medigap enrollment opportunity? Might as well just, let's go ahead and dive in. All right, welcome back to Medicare Happy Hour, the most fun you'll have on the internet while talking about Medicare. Today, I am sipping on a dry Riesling as we break down the different Medigap enrollment periods. Let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so cheers. Let's go ahead and dive on in. So first things first, what are Medicare supplement plans? We have several videos about this, so feel free to go to our page if you want more information on supplements. But very briefly, these are also known as Medigap plans. They're health insurance policies sold by private insurance companies. They are designed to be paired with original Medicare. So you have to have your Medicare Parts A and Parts B to enroll in a Medicare supplement. There are 10 different types of Medigap plans. They're lettered A through N. We got rid of a few in 2010 and added a couple new ones in. That's why it doesn't alphabetically completely match up there. And they are standardized. So the same letter, a G plan with one insurance company in Texas is the same as a G plan with another insurance company in Rhode Island. So essentially, same plan no matter where you live or which insurance company. And then, two quick things that I always like to point out here is your Part A and Part B deductible. Your most Medicare supplements, not all, will pick up this Medicare Part A deductible of $1,676 for 2025. And your Part B deductible, most Medicare supplements or Medigap plans now, you're going to be paying that $257 Part B deductible. Now, as with any Medicare option you look at, you are going to have to pay your Medicare Part B premium regardless. So diving on in here, Medigap open enrollment period. I'm going to go ahead and shift over here. So the thing to keep in mind here is whether you choose to work past 65 and enroll in Medicare at 67 or something like that, you have a one-time enrollment period in the Medigap. It's the Medigap open enrollment period, or their OEP. So essentially what this means is when you enroll in your Medicare Part B for the first time, you have 6 months to select a Medigap plan if you would like one. So, that's when it's guaranteed issue. They can't deny you coverage. They can't charge you more for the plan based on your medical needs, nothing there. If you miss it, your application could be denied, or you could charge higher premiums. You could have medical underwriting, and it could no longer be guaranteed issue. All right, so let's say you turn 65 and enroll in Medicare Part B, or let's say you turn 65 and decide, I'm going to keep working and stay on my employer plan for a few years, and then at age 67, I'm going to enroll in Medicare Part B. That is what we are talking about here. So essentially, your Medigap open enrollment period starts once you apply for Medicare Part B. So once your Medicare Part B is active, it's a one-time enrollment period, and you have 6 months to select a Medigap plan. And during this 6 months, you can get a plan that's guaranteed issue, which means they can't charge you more if you have pre-existing conditions, they can't deny your coverage, etc. If you're new to Medicare Part B, then you get this 6-month period. If you miss this, your application could be denied, you could be charged higher premiums, you could have to go through medical underwriting. Essentially, you would no longer be eligible for a guaranteed issue Medicare supplement at that point. Okay, so let's go through a couple examples of, let's say you are on Medicare Part B and maybe you're a procrastinator, or you just didn't think about the fact that maybe you would need a Medicare Advantage or a Medicare supplement plan. So first things first, if you are only on original Medicare, you can apply for a Medicare supplement at any point. If you have that active Medicare Part A and Part B, you can apply at any point. But once you surpass that 6-month window after your Medicare Part B is effective, it's no longer guaranteed issue. So, you could be charged more. You do have to go through medical underwriting. For a lot of people, this isn't an issue. A lot of people can go through medical underwriting and be fine. But it is something that you have to consider. So when it comes to enrolling in that Medicare supplement, if you're just on original Medicare, your red, white, and blue Medicare card, there aren't time frames, but you are going to have to go through that medical underwriting. All right, so the second situation that I want to address today is, let's say when you first enroll in Medicare, you decide, I want to look at a Medicare Advantage plan, and you enroll in that Medicare Advantage plan. Anytime during the first 12 months on that plan, let's say you're 7 months in and you decide, I really don't like these copays, or, the hospital I want to see is not in network in this plan. Anytime during those 12 months that you decide you don't want to be on that Medicare Advantage plan, you can switch to a supplement with no medical underwriting questions. And the reason for this is there is a 1-year trial period your first year on a Medicare Advantage plan. Now, the other option for this, before I go through a couple more situations here, is if you're on a supplement for years and years and years and you've never been on an Advantage plan, and at that point you do want to try out a Medicare Advantage plan, you would also be eligible for this 1-year trial right to go ahead and switch. You can try that Medicare Advantage plan. If at any point during those first 12 months, you could switch back to a supplement without medical underwriting. After that 12 months, you would have to go through those medical underwriting questions though. A couple of situations I do feel are important to address also if you're on a Medicare Advantage plan and you're past that 12-month window would be, if your Medicare Advantage plan is leaving Medicare, if your Medicare Advantage plan stops coverage in your area, so your county, if you move out of your Medicare Advantage plan service area, or sometimes the Medicare Advantage plans, we've seen situations in the past where maybe an insurance company breaks a rule or the plan is misleading. These are 4 situations that could allow you to move to a Medicare supplement without medical underwriting or guaranteed issue, essentially. So if 1 to 4 happen to you, you can select any Medicare supplement plan except for plan M or N. So one last situation I do want to address is how the annual enrollment period impacts individuals on a supplement. So during AEP or the Medicare Advantage open enrollment period, so that would be the fall is the AEP period, and OEP is the Medicare Advantage period in the first quarter, where if you're on an existing Medicare Advantage plan, you can switch one time to a different Medicare Advantage plan. So things to keep in mind already. Here, AEP, as I just mentioned, October 15th through December 7th. If you switch from a Medicare Advantage plan to original Medicare at that point, you can apply for a Medicare supplement then. You do have to still purchase your Part D, and unless you're eligible for this 1-year trial right, you will have to go through medical underwriting questions to get on that Medicare supplement. Second is the Medicare Advantage open enrollment period. That's what I just mentioned, is January 1st through March 31st. And it's a chance to switch or drop a Medicare Advantage plan for you. Now, this would not work with supplements because you're only going from a Medicare Advantage plan to another Medicare Advantage plan. And then last, it's, the one thing is important to remember is if you're outside of your Medigap open enrollment period that I talked about earlier, those first 6 months, or you're outside of this 1-year trial period on a Medicare Advantage plan, the medical underwriting or kind of the guaranteed rights issue does apply to you. So the guaranteed issue or the guaranteed rights are really important. And if you take nothing away from today, I just don't want you to miss your window if this is something that is important to you. So this Medigap open enrollment period that I talked about earlier, it starts the first month that you have Medicare Part B. So for example, if that's January, that would start your 6-month period. So, as you may remember, retirement is not a requirement for Medicare. I said retire a few times in this, and I use that as dates, but you can always, even if you're still working, consider a Medicare option at that point instead of remaining on an employer or your spouse's employer plan. At the end of the day, if you have questions, give us a call. We're here to help. We want to make sure you don't miss your 6-month window or your 1-year trial period if that's important to you. So cheers.